What is going on, YouTube? I'm Dorkatron Prime. I'm here with Travis, the ninth place, barely bubbled out, from the Pro Play Regional Qualifiers. Now there was 128 players in this tournament, and Travis, what did you play in this tournament?
I actually took Mega Zoo. It was kind of a last minute choice. I was originally going to take Red Omni, and then after talking to a couple buddies and stuff, I was like, all right, I'm changing my profile like literally within like half an hour before the tournament started. So
That is amazing because Megazoo is absolutely underrated. Do you agree with that?
I believe so. I know people at my locals believe so. I think I think it definitely has a place. It definitely has. You definitely have to know what you're doing when you play it, though. That's for sure.
So, what did you more or less play against in this tournament?
If I remember my matchups correctly, my first round was against Shine Greymon, and I drew that game. To be honest, the player was playing decently slow. I don't want to sound like a jerk by putting it out like that, but that did definitely play into the draw aspect of it. Um, my second round was against the McDonald's deck. So, again, not my coin, Aspira's coin. Give him all the credit for that. So it's the McDonald's deck is that red-yellow security variant people were playing around with. Third round was against a Mastamon deck, and I was pleasantly surprised. It was one of my more enjoyable matchups that were in the event. The guy actually gave me his list at the end of it. It was really well put together, and he was really good at playing it. So I won that matchup. Round 4, I played against, I believe it was Sarismon. I believe I played Sarismon round 4, and it was a real swift 2-0 on that one. And it was either round 4 or round 5 I played Saris, and then after that or before that I played another purple deck, which was more like Lilithmon based. That was rounds 4 and 5, whichever way that they went. Round 6, I played against Tyler Sear, and he was playing Red Omni, and he just came in real hard on that. I had nothing to respond to him on when it came to that. So I lost my round 6, and then round 7 was against another Lilithmon matchup, and that game came extremely close. Because he just kept recycling Trump swords like crazy. So I don't know. I can't remember. He played Trump sword on me so many times that game.
Okay. And so what were your advantages and your disadvantages while playing in this tournament?
As far as advantages go, the reason I chose to go with Megazoo was I was debating between either Megazoo, Blue Imperial, or I had this like purple deck that I was working around with that I felt somewhat confident in taking. At the end of it, I just kind of like threw caution to the wind and chose to play Megazoo. I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to play something other than what I was originally going to take, then I'm going to play this because I felt I had a good matchup against the entire field. I didn't think Red Omni was going to be shown too much because Shine has been kind of keeping it down for a while. So I figured Shine was going to be big. I figured some people were going to be trying to play Saris, and I knew that McDonald's deck was going to be everywhere, and Rookie Rush, of course. So I picked the deck that had probably the best matchup against all of those decks, which I felt Megazoo kind of covered, and it honestly did. So disadvantages, I knew red was going to be tough because I am a red player at heart. My first top 16 was was during the 1.0 format with Red Omni, and I knew red was just going to be an aggressive matchup, and it was going to kind of come down to if I could stick certain cards to the board or not, or if he was going to go off faster than I could. So other than that, I felt pretty comfortable against all my matchups that day. Blue Imperial might have been able to squeak a win if they were, quick enough on the attack. But other than that, I wasn't really too scared of anything. So I think my only big disadvantage was probably the Red Omni.
Okay. And are you overall happy with the results?
Honestly, I got my invitation, so I mean, I can't say that I'm not happy with the results. I was really trying to top 8 with Megazoo, and the fact that I was kind of I bubbled out of top 8. I can't say I wasn't upset about it, but that's just how pairings work, unfortunately. So someone else had a better tiebreaker than I did, unfortunately. So, but being at the top of the rest of the roster after top 8, I'll take that.
No, it's still a great thing. I mean, you're within the top 16 of 128 players, and this is a regional qualifier as well. So there's a lot of pro players out there. Like there was True Champ, Tyler, I think you said. What was the other name? Okay, so now we're gonna be jumping into the shoutouts. Do you have any shoutouts that you want to throw out there?
I got a couple. I'm gonna have to shout out my boy Max Tapera. I always hang out in his stream and play with him whenever I get a chance to. So I usually always it helps to keep me up to date with everything and keep me practicing. I'll shout out my own local scene around here. My buddy Angel, who I play with, and his wife Heather. We go to the local scenes out here, and we play some cards. And then I will shout out to Batatinator TCG. He was my first interview when I top 16 with Red Omni, and obviously it was great that somebody was interested in a deck that I think I placed 12th in that event. So it wasn't like I was, even close to top 8 on that point, but someone still took interest in that, which was cool. And then obviously shout out to you, man, for reaching out to me to check out this deck list.
All right. So we are going to be posting, I'm going to try to get most of the links in the description. And we're going to be looking at the deck profile now, which is right here. So as you can see here, we have the level 7s. So would you like to start explaining the list?
I don't have the list on my screen right now, actually. I think you have the list with you, don't you?
Okay, so we have the 2 Alteresses, the 2 Omnimons, and then the 3 Millenniummons, and 4 Ragnarlordmon. You have anything to talk about with these?
As far as like the Omni and the Alteress go, the fact that they all of the level 7s have a very specific color that they needed for them. So the majority that were there primarily focused off of either black or red, and that pretty much fleshed out the rest of the deck. And I had been playing around Megazoo for a while, and I'd been keeping tabs on people who were playing it before and what their strengths and weaknesses had been prior to that. So I had already been dipping into other people's lists to see what the best setup was for it, and I was happy with the red black split being at 14 of the 10 drops. So as far as the level 7s go, you didn't want to play too many level 7s on that regard. So that's why I played what it was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Total of
11. So I played 11 level 7. 11, I think it was.
Yeah.
Unless I'm off. I might be off.
Oh wait, no wait, it's actually 10.
I had tried it before with 4.
No.
10? Okay.
No, 11.
That sounds that sounds right. No. Okay. Anyway, I had tried it with 4 Alter S's and 3 Omni. Like I had tried maxing out as much as I could on the level 7s, and I found myself bricking on them too much. So I cut down the level 7 amount, and I went more into I put more into other aspects of the deck. Like I saw people where there was a list where somebody had actually thrown in the VMons that I have in the list and other things. So, you make cuts from the very top end of it to add into like the bottom end and kind of flush out the deck a little bit more than what it originally was. So 11 was a good number. I honestly don't think I would change it. I saw them when I needed to see them, and I didn't see too many of them, which was, obviously what you don't want to see.
Okay. So now we're looking at the level 6s. So we have Craniumon at 1, 2 Machine Dramons, 3 Magnadramons, 4 Volcanodramon, and 3 of Phoenixmon, 3 Hyandramon, and then 4 Durandamon, and I forgot the name of that one, Baludramon.
Yep.
Yep.
So there's 14 level 10s in there, and the reason for that is because level 10, like playing a 10, regardless whether it's your first turn, like if you have to go first, or at any other point in the game, even if you put yourself to 0 with some kind of effect, you still are able to play that 10 drop and not have your hand be bricked. One of the things playing Megazoo for the first time back in 1.0 format, I noticed that a lot of those 11, 12, 13K or 13 cost bodies, people tend to lock you at 1 memory because they know that if they give you any more than that, you can drop something with a higher threat. So I chose to go with 14 of the 10 drops because then it always guaranteed that, like, there wasn't a single game that I didn't open up with at least 1 10 drop in my hand to start off the game with or to put down. And it just always guaranteed that I had a play to make if I needed to make it. As far as the 11s go, for Volcanic Dramon, it's basically, you see Rookie Rush, it just punishes Rookie Rush. And it also, against the McDonald's deck, having most of their security guys I think all the security guys are actually 4K because one game in round 2, he had gotten like 3 of them off of his security, and then I just ended my turn by playing a Volcanic Dramon to wipe them off the board. So the card's extremely punishing against that, and then you can follow up with an Alter S and take out even more stuff the next turn. Magnadramon, I noticed a lot of Megazoo lists were dropping their count to like maybe 1 or 2 copies. Some even didn't play any. And I feel in a deck without blockers, you really need that Magnadramon to go off because it recovers your security. It puts more bodies in there, the possibility of a Gaia Force or something. You need that security to be clearing off bodies for you so that you can push through and have less to worry about. So I felt that was important. I know some of the lists that I looked at prior as well were playing more copies of Machine Dramon. I opted for 2. I threw in a random copy of Craniumon because I felt at some point it might be useful. I thought if I came up against red, I thought Craniumon would kind of clench the matchup for me. And it definitely does help. I saw it a couple times that day. I don't know if I would put it up to 2, possibly. But 1 seemed to work out just as a tech 1 of. And everything else just kind of goes with the Ragna line. So the Ragna line is just extremely punishing in general because you can either get yourself a huge blocker or you can get yourself something with piercing, and 14K with piercing, reboot, security attack +1, it's nothing to scoff at.
Okay, and then we go into level 5s, which is 2 Skull Greymons and 2 Infirmons. Interesting choice with the Infirmon. Did it come up a lot where you used the on-play ability?
I used it a couple times during the event. I thought that if I did come up against one of these random rogue decks, like let's say I came up against black blockers or something like that, if they ever did evolve up into a Craniamon, then I would have an answer for the Craniamon to pull it off the board with Infirmon. My other outlook on it is as far as combos go, Infirmon can just de-digivolve things like crazy if you have Kaiser Nails. So you can have an Infirmon underneath something, and then Kaiser Nail it back out and de-digivolve something again. So I wanted there to be an even split of de-digivolve with the Infirmon, and then have the Skull Greymons in case I needed to pop a blocker, or if I went up against a Ragnalis that, put a blocker underneath, I could just pop the Ragna.
Okay. And then the 4 Vmons, and then the 4 Demi Vmons were for just the Kaiser Nail, correct?
The Demi Vmons were for the Kaiser Nail, and also because it was just a free draw one whenever I swung with the Vmon. The Vmons are just there, just for some chip damage whenever I can get it in. Not much to say, really. The card's stupid good.
Okay, and then 3 Kai Forces and 4 Kaiser Nails.
Yeah, so Gaia Force is just Gaia Force. I don't think I really need to go into much explanation of why Gaia Force is a good card. I thought 3 was all right because I didn't want to brick my hand too much with things that weren't Digimon that I could just play and use and, get into whatever I needed to get into. As far as the Kaiser Nails, I swear to God, this card is going to get nailed. Mark my words, one of these days, this card is going to end up on the ban list because it is so easily abused in so many different situations. I can't begin to tell you how good of a card Kaiser Nail is, and it is so overlooked in most situations. I've had this conversation with friends of mine before. I played it in a yellow-blue deck that I played in 1.0 format to spam out Magna Angemons. In this deck in particular, you can bring out Skull Greymon and pop stuff, which in the 1 purple matchup, it literally would have been the reason that I won, is I had a Skull Greymon underneath something. I could have Kaiser Nailed it, popped a blocker, evolved, Kaiser Nailed, popped a blocker, and evolved because he had given me so much memory to work with. And it's such an abusive card in so many ways. Like, especially when you're, if you play a vanilla and you go up into a Ragnalordmon and then you slip under like one of the pieces to either give it blocker or piercing, you can then play Kaiser Nail because the Ragna was free because you slipped something underneath it. Play Kaiser Nail after you swing and bring out a vanilla to set yourself up for anything. Like, it's like, okay, cool. I have another guy ready to go here. What play are you gonna make that I can possibly Omni, Alter S, Millenniumon, or just throw another Ragna onto the board for?
Okay, so let's see. Is there any changes you'd like to make to the whole profile?
Honestly, like I said earlier, I'd like to see if I could fit in maybe another Craniamon. The card did put in work in the games that I was actually able to stick it to the board. I'm kind of skeptical about it, though, because, as I said before, when it came to, like, choking me on memory, people usually like to lock me at, like, maybe 1, 2 if I was lucky. So getting to that 13 cost to just hard drop a Craniamon is kind of rough. Yes, you can evolve it over top of an Infernmon, but most of the time if they saw the Infernmon, like once it went off, like they killed it like immediately. Like they did not want that thing sticking around.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time. Like I said earlier, guys, Travis was 9th place in this giant tournament, and congratulations, by the way, for being in the top 16.
Thank you.
if we're gonna be doing some links on the description, and I hope you guys like and subscribe. And remember, we brick by nature.